You're sitting at a red light in your older car. It's not flashy. It's not new. But it works perfectly. It gets you where you need to go without any drama. Then a luxury SUV pulls up beside you. Clean, polished, expensive. For a brief moment, you feel something. Maybe doubt. Maybe comparison. You start wondering if your car says something about you, something you don't like. Later that day, someone you know talks about their new car. Everyone admires it. The features, the design, the price. You stay quiet. You don't mention that you're still driving the same vehicle you've had for years. And at some point, you start asking yourself a dangerous question. Am I behind in life? Here's the truth most people never realize. You might actually be ahead. Because what looks like success on the outside often hides financial pressure underneath. That expensive car? In many cases, it's financed. The monthly payments are high. The stress is real. Meanwhile, your paid-off car represents something far more powerful, freedom. This is where most people get it wrong. They assume that what looks wealthy is wealthy. But appearance and reality are often completely different. In fact, people who truly build wealth tend to drive simple, reliable cars. Not because they can't afford more, but because they understand something deeper. A car is not an investment. It's a cost. And the more expensive that cost becomes, the more it quietly eats into your future. Let's break this down. Imagine two people. One constantly upgrades to newer, more impressive cars, always keeping up with trends. The other buys slightly used, reliable cars and keeps them for years. The first person pays more every month. The second saves that difference and invests it. Over time, that gap grows. Not just a little, but massively. Because money that isn't spent doesn't just sit still. It compounds. That's the real difference. It's not about the car. It's about what that money could have become. Now add another layer, depreciation. The moment a new car leaves the showroom, it loses a significant portion of its value. Within a few years, a large chunk of that money is simply gone. Not transferred. Not recovered. Just gone. So when someone keeps buying new cars frequently, they're constantly absorbing the biggest losses. On the other hand, someone who buys used avoids that initial drop and gets the same function for far less cost. Same destination. Same reliability. Completely different financial outcome. But if the math is so clear, why do people still choose expensive cars? Because cars aren't just transportation. They're symbols. They're visible. They move with you. They shape how strangers perceive you. A nice car can create an impression of success. And that's powerful. But here's the catch. That impression only matters to people who don't actually know you. The people who truly matter, your family, your close friends, your colleagues, judge you based on your actions, your consistency, your character, not your car. So in reality, many people are spending thousands just to impress strangers they'll never see again. And that's a losing trade. There's also an industry behind this. A system designed to keep you upgrading, financing, and staying in the cycle. New features, slight upgrades, fresh designs. Every year there's something better. But most of those improvements don't change the core purpose of a car. They just create the feeling that what you have is no longer enough. That feeling drives decisions. And those decisions cost money. Now think about this. If you consistently choose practical over impressive, year after year, what happens? You spend less. You save more. You invest consistently. And over time, that gap turns into real wealth. That's why many financially successful people live differently than expected. They don't chase appearances. They focus on outcomes. They've stepped out of the comparison game. Because that game has no finish line. There's always someone with something better, something newer, something more expensive. And trying to keep up only leads to one place, constant spending. But opting out, that's where real power is. It's not about denying yourself forever. It's about understanding the trade-offs. Every expensive choice has an invisible cost, your future options. So the next time you see someone driving something impressive, don't immediately assume they're ahead. And don't underestimate what your boring car represents. It might not turn heads, but it's building something far more important behind the scenes. Freedom, stability, and long-term growth. Because in the end, real success isn't about what people see for a moment. It's about what you quietly build over time. And the real flex? It's not the car that gets attention. It's the life that doesn't depend on it.